The day the sky changed forever began quietly. Morning sun spilled over cities, fields, and oceans as people went about their ordinary lives, unaware that the universe had just shifted. In space, beyond the moon's orbit, something massive appeared. Ships, the size of cities, glowing faintly with a strange light that no human had ever seen. At first, satellites blinked and failed. Scientists in observatories around the world stared at screens that suddenly filled with images of alien warships. Each one was enormous, shaped like jagged crystals with sharp angles and surfaces that reflected the sun in strange, unnatural ways. The largest among them, a central command vessel, seemed almost alive. Its hull pulsed with energy. Like a beating heart. Governments scrambled. Military leaders convened in emergency meetings, but even the most seasoned strategists felt a sense of helplessness. The aliens were already in orbit. There was no warning, no time to build defenses. Across the globe, people watched the sky with fear in their eyes. Then came the broadcast. A voice cold and resonant echoed in every language simultaneously, translated instantly by alien technology. People of Earth, surrender your world. Resistance is futile. Accept our rule, and your species may survive. Defiance will bring absolute destruction. The message was calm, detached, and terrifying. The Virith, the name they used in the broadcast, made no threats without the power to enforce them. Their ships orbited Earth like silent predators. Humanity had never faced such an enemy. In homes, schools, and offices, people froze. Children clutched parents' hands. Workers stopped mid-task, and news stations struggled to provide answers. Across the planet, the collective heartbeat of humanity seemed to slow. Yet not everyone panicked. In small, hidden laboratories, engineers, scientists, and military officers quietly exchanged glances that carried a spark of determination. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and though the Virith were unlike anything seen in history, human ingenuity and will had always been a force to reckon with. In Washington, D.C., the president addressed the world. Calm, determined, he said, "We do not yet know what the Virith are capable of, but we do know this. We are human. We adapt, we fight, and we survive. We will not surrender without trying every possible defense." Across oceans and continents, similar voices emerged. Leaders, teachers, and ordinary citizens declaring that humanity would stand, no matter the cost. The world was terrified, yes, but fear could not extinguish hope. The first response from humanity came not with weapons, but with observation. Satellites and drones were deployed to study the Virith ships. Scientists observed their movements, their energy patterns, and their communications. The aliens were organized, precise, and frighteningly efficient. Their technology seemed beyond comprehension, yet patterns emerged. Humans began to notice vulnerabilities, small, almost insignificant details the aliens themselves overlooked. In Tokyo, a young engineer named Aiko stared at the projections of the alien fleet. Her mind raced. "Look here," she said to her team. "Their energy pulses are synchronized. If we can disrupt that even slightly, we might create a gap." In Moscow, Commander Ivan Petrov studied the aliens' formations. His experience in strategy and tactics made him see what others missed. "They expect us to panic," he said. "They think we'll surrender, but humans don't surrender that easily." Even ordinary citizens began preparing. Communities organized, sharing knowledge, food, and shelter. Humanity's strength lay not just in technology or military might, but in unity, in the willingness of ordinary people to rise to extraordinary challenges. Meanwhile, the Virith continued their orbit, observing silently. Their calculations had assumed Earth would be easy, primitive, predictable, and fearful. What they did not expect was the spark of defiance that flared across the planet, small at first, but growing with each passing hour. In the deserts of Nevada, the first human resistance test occurred. Military drones, modified with experimental tech, engaged a scouting alien ship. The attack was minor, almost inconsequential in scale, but it succeeded. The alien ship faltered, unable to anticipate the chaotic human tactics. Across the world, similar actions unfolded, minor skirmishes that would later be remembered as the first signs that humans were not ready to surrender. In New Delhi, a group of civilians hacked into alien communication signals. Intercepting transmissions meant to intimidate humanity. They realized the Virath underestimated human ingenuity. Even a single broadcast of human defiance sent ripples through the alien command network. The Virath were powerful, yes, but rigid. They had not accounted for unpredictability. The one thing humans excelled at. Night fell, and for the first time, cities lit their skies with signals of resistance. Fires, lights, and digital messages created a pattern of defiance that could be seen from orbit. The Virath observed, perhaps confused, at a species that seemed fragile, yet refused to bend. In the corridors of power, strategy sessions continued. Maps were covered with calculations, every possible attack and counterattack considered. Scientists experimented with energy manipulation, engineers designed new defense mechanisms, and military leaders planned coordinated strikes. Humanity had no choice but to adapt, and it did quickly and creatively. From the ashes of fear arose determination. Humanity had one chance, and it would use every ounce of intelligence, courage, and resilience to survive. The Virath, confident and patient, assumed they had time. They did not. Humanity's spark had ignited, and soon it would become a firestorm. Across the globe, ordinary people took extraordinary steps. A teacher in Brazil organized children to map the stars and track alien movements. A farmer in Kansas converted tractors and harvesters into makeshift armored vehicles. Students in Canada developed algorithms that could interfere with alien communications. Each act was small, but together, they formed a web of resistance that the Virath had not calculated. Humanity, underestimated at every turn, was quietly preparing for the storm. And as the first night of the alien occupation came to an end, one truth became clear. The Virath expected surrender. But humanity had only just begun. From the shadows of fear rose ingenuity, courage, and an unyielding will to survive. The first part of the battle had not yet begun, but the stage was set. Humanity was ready to prove that even against the most powerful enemies, the human spirit was not just resilient, it was unstoppable. The sky over Earth remained dark with alien ships, but within that darkness glimmered hope. Humanity was alive, defiant and dangerous in ways the Virath had never imagined. The coming days would test every human, but they would do so together. And they would fight not just for survival, but for the right to shape their destiny. The war for Earth had begun, not with fire and blood, but with courage, unity, and the first spark of resistance. The world had braced itself for annihilation. From towering skyscrapers to remote villages, humanity had expected the alien overlords, the Virath, to strike with devastating precision. But the first days revealed something unexpected. Humans were not passive, and they were not surrendering. In New York, Commander Elena Ramirez surveyed a makeshift war room set up in the subway tunnels beneath the city. Screens flickered with live feeds from satellites, drones, and amateur astronomers. Across the globe, the Virath ships loomed in orbit, massive and intimidating, yet the humans beneath them were preparing to strike in ways the aliens could not predict. Elena tapped on a screen showing a small squadron of drones approaching a scouting Virath ship. The humans had improvised weapons using their knowledge of the alien ship's energy pulses. "If we disrupt their energy flow for even 10 seconds," she said, "we might be able to disable one of their smaller vessels." Across the world, similar efforts unfolded. In Cairo, engineers experimented with electromagnetic pulses, targeting alien communication systems. In Sydney, a group of students modified satellites to interfere with the Virath fleet's navigation. Ordinary citizens were joining in as well, their acts of courage small but meaningful. It was the human spirit, their creativity, adaptability, and refusal to be crushed, that made the difference. The Virath had assumed compliance, yet they were met with resistance that grew stronger every day. The first strike came quietly. A small human drone slipped past alien sensors and attached a disruption device to a Virath scout ship. Energy sparks crackled along its hull. Then, with a sudden pulse, the ship faltered, losing balance in orbit. The humans watched, hardly daring to believe it. The aliens had not expected this. Reports poured in from other regions. Similar small victories, each insignificant on its own, combined to form a pattern. Humanity was unpredictable. Chaos, which the aliens had dismissed as primitive, had become a weapon. In Moscow, Commander Ivan Petrov coordinated attacks across the northern hemisphere. Using a combination of misdirection and clever timing, humans struck at alien sensors, communication nodes, and small vessels. The Vireth, who had predicted total surrender, began to experience confusion. Their command structure, designed for absolute efficiency, struggled to adapt to human unpredictability. Even civilians contributed in ways that were creative and surprising. A group of hackers in Sao Paulo discovered that alien drones could be temporarily blinded by simple light pulses. Farmers in France created makeshift trenches and barricades that funneled alien patrols into traps. School children in Japan mapped the stars to help scientists track alien movements. Each effort, though small, contributed to a web of resistance that the Vireth had not accounted for. Elena watched a live feed of a human squad launching a modified drone towards a Vireth patrol. The drone glided silently through space, a tiny spark of rebellion. Then came the moment of impact. The alien ship shuddered, lights flickering. It was only a minor ship, one of the smallest in the fleet, but the symbolism was enormous. Humans had struck first. The Vireth responded with their characteristic precision. Ships shifted formation, energy shields shimmered, and countermeasures were deployed. Yet each response revealed another human innovation. Humans did not attack predictably. They adapted, learned, and exploited weaknesses that the aliens had ignored. In Delhi, a group of engineers developed a device that could interfere with alien targeting systems. They tested it on a captured alien probe. It worked. The probe misfired its weapons and drifted harmlessly into orbit. News of the success spread quickly, sparking hope and inspiration. Hope was contagious. Across the globe, people began to realize that resistance was possible. Fear had been replaced with determination. Communities rallied together. Engineers, students, teachers, soldiers, and civilians all contributed their knowledge, creativity, and courage. In the deserts of Nevada, a combined force of humans ambushed a Vireth patrol. They had learned to anticipate the aliens' movements using patterns from previous encounters. The patrol was destroyed, and the humans captured a small Vireth device intact. Scientists rushed to analyze it, hoping to unlock more weaknesses. Even the aliens began to feel the pressure. Their calculations, so precise and unyielding, struggled to account for human ingenuity. They began to realize that their expectations had been flawed. Humanity was not just resisting, they were learning, adapting, and fighting back in ways that were utterly alien. In New York, Elena met with her team to plan the next phase. "We need to scale up," she said. "These victories are small, but they show that we can fight. We need more drones, more devices, and more people involved. Every small action counts." Her team nodded, determination shining in their eyes. The world was afraid, but fear had been replaced with courage. Ordinary people had become heroes, and heroes had become legends in their own right. Meanwhile, in space, the Vireth fleets grew increasingly cautious. They had expected humans to surrender, but instead, the humans attacked with unpredictability and creativity. Each new tactic revealed flaws in alien assumptions. The Vireth began to rethink their strategy, realizing that a full-scale attack might not be as simple as they had imagined. On Earth, humans did not wait for perfection. They learned from every encounter, adapted every tactic, and used every resource at their disposal. The first week of resistance passed with a mix of minor victories and hard lessons, but one thing was clear. Humanity would not surrender. Across continents, ordinary people found courage they did not know they had. A nurse in London guided families to shelters that doubled as communication hubs. A teacher in Nairobi organized children to monitor alien drones and report sightings. A fisherman in Norway used his boat to trap alien patrol craft near fjords. Each act, though small, strengthened the network of resistance. The Vireth, powerful and confident, began to experience doubt. Humans were unpredictable, relentless, and clever. Every calculated move they made was countered with human innovation. Every advance was met with resistance. The aliens had expected submission, but instead, they faced defiance. And they were beginning to fear it. As days passed, humanity's small victories grew bolder. Teams coordinated attacks across continents, using signals, drones, and hacked alien technology. Each operation was a test of courage, intelligence, and collaboration. In Tokyo, Aiko and her team developed a new device capable of temporarily disabling alien shields. "We can't take their big ships yet," she said, "but we can weaken their defenses. Then we strike." Her words echoed the sentiment of millions around the world. Humans may have been small compared to the alien overlords, but they were cunning, adaptable, and unyielding. Humanity had discovered a truth the Vireth could not predict. Fear could be turned into strength, and desperation could be transformed into innovation. By the end of the second week, humans had achieved what once seemed impossible. They had made the Vireth pause. Alien ships moved cautiously, scanning for threats that humans had created in their ingenuity. The overlords had expected surrender. Instead, they found themselves facing resistance, organized, intelligent, and relentless. Elena stood before her team, looking at the live feeds of human victories around the world. "This is only the beginning," she said. "We have shown them that humanity is not weak. We have shown them that we fight, and we will continue to fight, not because we want war, but because we will never surrender." For the first time, the Vireth commanders experienced something foreign: doubt. Humanity, a species they had expected to bend without question, was not only resisting, it was learning, adapting, and striking back. In every corner of the world, from the deserts of Nevada to the cities of Europe and the islands of the Pacific, humans prepared for what was to come. They were no longer just survivors. They were a force. Small, determined, and unpredictable, but a force nonetheless. The aliens had underestimated one thing: humanity. They had assumed that fear would be enough to ensure compliance, that advanced technology would guarantee submission. But humans had something the Vireth could not understand: creativity, courage, and the refusal to be conquered. The war had begun, not with total destruction, but with the first sparks of human defiance. And in those sparks burned the certainty that humanity would not bow. Humanity had turned fear into strength, chaos into strategy, and resistance into hope. The Vireth had expected surrender. Humanity had chosen battle, and the fight was only beginning. The resistance that had begun on Earth now spread to the skies above. Humans had learned quickly: staying on the ground alone would not be enough. To truly defend their planet, they had to take the fight to the stars. Space, once a vast and empty void, became a battlefield where human courage and ingenuity met alien technology. On. Commander Elena Ramirez stood on the bridge of the Aurora, one of Earth's first modified spacecraft equipped for combat. The ship had been retrofitted with stolen alien technology, scavenged parts, and human innovation. Engineers had worked tirelessly to enhance weapons, reinforce shields, and improve maneuverability. The Aurora was a symbol of humanity's resolve, small compared to the Vireth warships, but deadly in unexpected ways. "Prepare the launch teams," Elena ordered. "We strike before they can reorganize. Every small victory counts, and we will use them all." In orbit, the Vireth had noticed the growing audacity of humans. Patrol ships had been disabled, satellites repurposed as weapons platforms, and minor attacks had begun to chip away at their control. The overlords, confident at first, now approached Earth with caution. Their calculations had failed to anticipate human unpredictability. A fleet of human ships, small and fast, launched from hidden orbital stations. Each craft was piloted by civilians turned heroes, scientists, engineers, former astronauts, and even trained volunteers from the military. They moved in coordinated patterns, striking quickly and retreating before the aliens could react. In Tokyo, Aiko monitored the human fleet from a command center. "We've analyzed the alien formations," she said. "Their shields have a short cooldown period after heavy attacks. That's our opening. Strike now, and we might disable one of their major ships." Elena's fleet surged forward. The first contact was violent, yet brief. Human ships darted through alien defenses, striking weak points in shields and weapon systems. Alien ships fired back with precision, but humans used erratic, unpredictable maneuvers that made targeting them difficult. The first major victory came when the Aurora disabled a Vireth frigate. Sparks flew across the alien ship's hull as energy pulses faltered. The frigate drifted helplessly in orbit, a testament to human creativity and daring. On Earth, millions watched the feeds in disbelief and hope. Humanity had proven that even against a technologically superior enemy, clever tactics and courage could turn the tide. Meanwhile, on the ground, scientists worked around the clock to improve human technology. A captured alien energy core allowed them to create temporary shields that could absorb more damage than human technology alone could withstand. Engineers developed small autonomous drones that could slip through alien defenses and deliver targeted attacks. Every success, no matter how small, strengthened humanity's resolve. In Moscow, Commander Ivan Petrov coordinated orbital attacks with ground strikes. Earth had become a network of resistance, with each node, city, military base, or hidden lab connected to the others. Humans were no longer reacting. They were anticipating, planning, and exploiting weaknesses in the Vireth strategy. The aliens, meanwhile, were growing increasingly frustrated. Their confidence was cracking. No longer did they issue commands with the certainty of victory. They began analyzing patterns, adjusting shields, and trying to predict human unpredictability. The Vireth had underestimated one crucial factor: humanity's ability to learn, adapt, and fight together. In New Delhi, engineers tested a device capable of temporarily shutting down alien engines. They deployed it on a patrol ship that had been chasing human drones. The ship stuttered, its engines misfiring, and it was forced to retreat. "It's working," a young engineer shouted. "We can slow them down, even defeat them." The victories, however, came at a cost. Human ships were small, and even minor mistakes could be deadly. Pilots risked everything in every maneuver, knowing that failure meant destruction. Yet each act of courage inspired countless others, creating a wave of determination that even the Vireth could not ignore. Aiko coordinated a daring strike on a larger alien ship near the moon. Using modified drones and human-piloted ships, they created a diversion while a small team approached the ship from an unexpected angle. The assault was precise and dangerous, but it succeeded in disabling one of the alien ship's main weapons. For the first time, the Vireth felt real fear. On Earth, celebrations were subdued. People understood the danger was far from over. Yet, every victory reminded humanity of what they were capable of when they worked together. Cities, once paralyzed by fear, now buzzed with activity. Engineers, students, and volunteers worked side by side, building new weapons, analyzing alien technology, and preparing the next strike. Even in the remotest corners of the world, humans joined the fight. In the deserts of Nevada, survivors launched guerrilla-style attacks on supply ships. In the forests of Scandinavia, civilians used natural terrain to ambush alien patrols. Each small victory weakened the Vireth's control and boosted human morale. Elena and her fleet pushed further into space. They discovered that the Vireth's weapons, though powerful, had a slow recharge rate after repeated use. By using hit-and-run tactics, humans could engage multiple targets without exposing themselves to full-scale retaliation. The battlefield had shifted. Humans were no longer defending. They were dictating the terms of combat. Aiko, monitoring the battlefield from Tokyo, realized that human ingenuity was multiplying exponentially. "Every tactic they use against us," she said, "we learn from and improve upon. They cannot predict us anymore. We are becoming more than they expected." Indeed, the tide of battle was turning. The Vireth fleets, once confident and unchallenged, began to retreat from certain sectors to regroup. Humans had achieved what no one thought possible. They had forced the alien overlords to reconsider their strategy. The species that had expected Earth to surrender was now struggling to adapt to human unpredictability. On the surface, civilians cheered at each broadcasted victory. Children waved homemade flags, teachers told stories of courage and ingenuity, and families shared news of human pilots and engineers risking everything to defend their planet. Humanity was united not by fear, but by shared purpose. Yet the fight was far from over. The Virith were formidable, and their technology remained vastly superior. Every victory was hard-won, and every battle carried risks. But the human spirit had proven itself indomitable. Against impossible odds, humanity had shown courage, resilience, and intelligence. In orbit, Elena's fleet prepared for the next wave of attacks. "We've learned a lot in the last 2 weeks," she said. "Now, we know their weaknesses and we know what we can do. We will strike again, stronger and smarter. Humanity will not surrender, and we will not fail." The tide had turned, but the war was just beginning. Humanity had discovered the truth the Virith had failed to anticipate. Humans were not just survivors. They were fighters, innovators, and relentless in their determination. The galaxy had assumed Earth would bow. Instead, it was witnessing the rise of a species that refused to be conquered, a species whose ingenuity and courage had begun to turn the battle in its favor. And in that moment, humanity realized something extraordinary. They were no longer defending their planet, they were shaping the destiny of their species. Every strike, every invention, and every act of courage was proof that humans were not just a species to be ruled. They were a force to be reckoned with. The tide had turned. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, bold, defiant, and unstoppable in ways the Virith could never have predicted. The Virith had assumed their dominance would be uncontested. They had expected Earth to surrender, its population trembling before superior technology. But now, weeks into the conflict, their assumptions were crumbling. Humanity had learned, adapted, and struck back in ways the aliens could never anticipate. Commander Elena Ramirez stood on the bridge of the Aurora, watching multiple feeds from the front lines. Space was alive with human ingenuity, small, nimble ships darting between alien warships, drones disabling shields, and experimental weapons disrupting communications. Every victory had been hard-earned, yet each success revealed something the Virith had never considered. Humans were relentless, creative, and unpredictable. "Status report," Elena said, her voice calm but firm. Iko monitoring from Tokyo replied, "Our forces have disabled 3 Virith cruisers near the moon's orbit. Their energy pulses are unstable, shields flickering. If we push now, we can force a retreat." Elena nodded. "Prepare the fleet. This is our chance to hit them where it hurts most." On Earth, the civilian population had become a crucial part of the war effort. Engineers, scientists, students, and volunteers worked tirelessly to supply the front lines with advanced technology. Every city, every community contributed. In Paris, a group of technicians repurposed captured alien drones into autonomous attack units. In Nairobi, civilians used terrain and natural resources to create traps for alien patrols. In Sydney, a DMID team hacked alien communication signals, feeding false data to the Virith fleet. The human strategy had evolved. No longer content with defensive strikes, humans were now taking the fight to the Virith in full force. They targeted supply lines, disrupted communication networks, and attacked major warships with precision. Every move combined intelligence, courage, and calculated risk. In orbit, Elena's fleet executed a daring maneuver. Human ships, smaller but faster than the alien cruisers, split into multiple groups. One team created a distraction, drawing fire and energy away from the target. Another group, led by Elena herself, approached the largest cruiser with stealth and speed. The battle was intense. Alien energy beams cut through space, striking empty voids where human ships had already moved. Drones exploded near shields, delivering concentrated bursts of energy that disrupted the cruiser's systems. Human pilots risked everything, weaving between blasts, calculating every move with precision. Finally, the cruiser faltered. Its weapons went dark, shields collapsed, and it drifted helplessly, unable to recover. Cheers erupted on Earth as live feeds broadcasted the victory. Humanity had struck not just at the alien fleet but at the perception of invincibility the Virith had carried into battle. Yet humans did not celebrate for long. The Virith were formidable and adaptive. They regrouped, reinforcing remaining ships, and deploying countermeasures. Their attacks became more aggressive, more precise. Humanity faced danger at every turn, yet they did not falter. In New Delhi, engineers worked to enhance human ships' defenses. They had captured fragments of alien technology, studying it to improve shields, weapons, and engines. Every day, humans grew stronger, smarter, more unpredictable. Each victory fed into the next, creating a chain reaction that the Virith could not anticipate. Commander Ivan Petrov coordinated simultaneous attacks on multiple fronts. Human forces struck alien bases in orbit, while others attacked patrol ships near Earth. The Virith were forced to spread their defenses thin, leaving gaps that humans exploited with precision and daring. On the surface, civilians contributed in equally remarkable ways. Farmers, engineers, and students transformed everyday tools into effective weapons. In the forests of Scandinavia, human forces ambushed alien patrols, using the environment to their advantage. In the deserts of Nevada, guerrilla tactics and improvised weapons disrupted alien supply lines. Humanity was united, every individual contributing to the collective effort. Aiko and her team devised a bold strategy to disable the Virith's central command ship. Using drones, stealth ships, and a series of diversions, they aimed to strike at the heart of the alien fleet. It was dangerous, but the potential payoff was enormous. Crippling the enemy's command structure could turn the tide of the war entirely in humanity's favor. Elena led the mission personally. Her ship, the Aurora, moved swiftly through space, dodging energy beams and debris. Drones attached to the enemy vessel disrupted shields while human ships targeted critical systems. Explosions rocked the alien cruiser, and for the first time, the Virith felt real fear. On Earth, live broadcasts showed the destruction of the cruiser. People cheered, cried, and hugged one another. Humanity had done the impossible. They had challenged a superior alien force and emerged victorious, proving that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most daunting odds. Yet the battle was far from over. The Virith retaliated with brutal force, striking multiple targets with concentrated energy blasts. Human ships were damaged, and lives were lost. But every human loss was met with renewed determination. Survivors adapted tactics, repaired ships, and continued the fight. Humanity did not retreat. Humanity did not surrender. In orbit above the Pacific, a young engineer named May piloted a small ship equipped with experimental weapons. She had volunteered despite limited training, driven by the desire to protect her home. Her ship weaved through alien fire, delivering precise strikes to key systems. Every maneuver was calculated, every risk considered. She was ordinary, yet extraordinary in her courage. On the ground, communities prepared for potential alien retaliation. Underground bunkers, communication hubs, and medical facilities were established in secret locations. Humans were organized, not just militarily but socially, ensuring that the fight could continue no matter the cost. As the Virith fleet began to retreat from certain sectors, humanity pushed forward. Their strikes became bolder, more coordinated. Every action was amplified by ingenuity, intelligence, and the unyielding will to survive. The aliens, once confident in their superiority, were now defensive, adapting to a species they had underestimated. Elena addressed her fleet. "We have proven ourselves," she said, "but our work is not done. The Virith will adapt, but so will we. We fight not only for survival, but for our planet, our people, and our future. Humanity will not surrender. Humanity will not be broken. And humanity will prevail." The battle for Earth had escalated into a war across space. Humans had become more than defenders. They were now aggressors, striking at the heart of the alien fleet with intelligence, courage, and precision. Every move showcased the best qualities of the species: ingenuity, determination, and an unyielding spirit. In orbit, the Vireth command ship faltered under the relentless human assault. Communications broke down, systems malfunctioned, and chaos spread through the fleet. The aliens had expected surrender, but they had received something far worse: an enemy that could think, adapt, and fight back with creativity and courage. Humanity's wrath had been unleashed. The species that the Vireth assumed would be easily conquered had proven itself unpredictable, relentless, and unstoppable. Every victory, no matter how small, strengthened their resolve. Every act of courage inspired millions. Humanity had become a force to be reckoned with. On Earth, celebrations were mixed with preparation. Humans knew that victory was not guaranteed, but they had shown the universe that they were not weak. They had turned fear into strength, chaos into strategy, and desperation into determination. As the sun set over cities, forests, and deserts, humans looked to the stars with pride. They had fought back, striking at a superior enemy and emerging stronger. Humanity had learned that survival was not enough. They would fight, innovate, and dominate where necessary. The Vireth had expected surrender. Humanity had brought absolute destruction in the areas they had struck, forcing the aliens to retreat and rethink their strategy. The battle was far from over, but one truth had become clear: humans were not a species to be underestimated. And, in that truth burned a promise: humanity would not stop. Humanity would not surrender. Humanity would continue to fight, to adapt, and to rise above every challenge. The wrath of humanity had been unleashed, and the galaxy was beginning to take notice. The battle for Earth had raged for weeks, but now the decisive moment had arrived. Humanity had proven that courage, ingenuity, and unity could stand against even the most advanced alien force. The Vireth, once confident in their dominance, were faltering. Their warships were damaged, communication networks disrupted, and morale low. Humanity had turned fear into strength and chaos into strategy. Commander Elena Ramirez stood on the bridge of the Aurora, looking at the holographic display of the alien fleet. "This is it," she said. "We strike at their command. One final coordinated attack and the Vireth will have no choice but to retreat or be destroyed." Around the globe, human forces readied themselves. In orbit, pilots adjusted their positions, drones hummed quietly as they prepared for deployment, and engineers ran last-minute checks on experimental weapons. On Earth, civilians coordinated efforts to supply ships, maintain communication networks, and monitor alien movements. Humanity had become a single united organism, each part working in perfect harmony toward a shared goal. Ico, monitoring the battle from Tokyo, coordinated the strike. "We've analyzed their defenses," she said. "Their central command ship is vulnerable on its starboard side. Shields regenerate slowly and their energy distribution is uneven. Hit it hard and fast and we cripple their fleet." Elena nodded. "All ships follow the plan. Remember, precision and timing are everything. Humanity depends on this moment." The assault began. Human ships, small and nimble, darted between alien warships, drawing fire and creating distractions. Drones delivered focused energy pulses, temporarily disabling weapons and shields. Pilots moved with daring skill, weaving through a storm of alien beams. Every action was calculated, every risk taken with courage and determination. The central command ship of the Vireth, enormous and imposing, loomed like a dark fortress. It had been the heart of their operations, coordinating strikes and maintaining control over the entire fleet. Now it became the focus of humanity's wrath. Elena's Aurora, along with a squadron of human ships, moved toward the starboard side. Drones attached themselves to the hull, delivering pulses that disrupted shields. Human pilots executed maneuvers that defied logic and convention, taking advantage of the aliens' rigidity. The command ship faltered, systems failing one by one. On Earth, millions watched live feeds of the battle. People cheered, cried, and held their breath. Humanity had fought bravely, but the final strike would decide the outcome. Aiko's calculations guided the human fleet. "Now!" she shouted. A coordinated surge of energy, missiles, and drone strikes hit the command ship's weak points. Explosions rippled across the hull. Shields collapsed, weapons went offline, and the ship began to drift uncontrollably. For the first time, the Vireth commanders experienced real fear. Their fleet, once confident and precise, was in chaos. Without the central command ship, coordination faltered. Smaller ships collided, weapons misfired, and retreat became inevitable. Humanity did not relent. They pressed the attack, striking remaining vessels with precision and daring. Every victory reinforced the resolve of pilots, engineers, and civilians alike. The Vireth, who had expected easy conquest, were now on the defensive, scrambling to survive. On the surface, celebrations were tempered by awareness. The war was not yet completely over, but humanity had proven something extraordinary. They could face impossible odds and emerge victorious. Communities continued to work together, ensuring the fight could continue until total victory was achieved. Elena's fleet continued to strike. The largest remaining Vireth ships, now isolated and vulnerable, fell to coordinated attacks. Human ingenuity was everywhere. Drones exploiting weak points, ships using clever maneuvers, and experimental weapons hitting critical systems. The aliens' technology, once terrifying, was now being used against them. In orbit above the Pacific, May piloted her small ship through the chaos. She had already survived multiple engagements, but now she was part of the final push. Her ship darted through alien fire, delivering precision strikes to engines and weapon systems. Each successful attack brought her closer to the sense of triumph she had dreamed of since the first day of the invasion. As the battle progressed, the Vireth began to retreat. Their fleet, disorganized and damaged, pulled back into distant sectors, leaving Earth and its orbit largely free from enemy control. Humanity had turned the tide completely. The aliens who had expected submission now faced the reality of defeat. Commander Ivan Petrov coordinated cleanup operations, ensuring that remaining alien ships could not regroup or return. On the ground, scientists and engineers recovered technology, analyzed failures, and prepared defenses in case of further attacks. Humanity had learned from every encounter and was stronger than ever. Elena watched the aftermath from the bridge of the Aurora. The human fleet was battered, but intact. Pilots returned safely. Drones hummed quietly in orbit, and engineers began repairs. Humanity had not only survived, they had won. On Earth, people celebrated with a mixture of relief and pride. Flags waved, songs filled the streets, and children danced under the sky, now free from the shadow of alien domination. Humanity had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, not because of superior technology alone, but because of courage, unity, and an unyielding spirit. Aiko addressed the global command network. "This is a new beginning," she said. "We have shown the universe that humanity cannot be underestimated. We are not just survivors. We are fighters, innovators, and a force to be reckoned with." The Vireth, defeated and retreating, left behind a galaxy that had underestimated humanity. They had expected surrender, but they had received absolute destruction. Humanity's ingenuity, courage, and unity had turned fear into triumph, chaos into strategy, and desperation into victory. On the surface of Earth, ordinary people became heroes. Engineers, pilots, civilians, and volunteers had all contributed to the final victory. Humanity had demonstrated that greatness was not measured solely by technology or power, but by determination, creativity, and the refusal to bow to impossible odds. Elena, standing on the Aurora, looked at the stars. Humanity had survived, but, more than that, they had proven themselves as a species capable of greatness. The war had been won, but the lessons were clear. Together, humans could overcome any challenge. The final message from the Vireth, broadcast weekly from their retreating ships, carried the weight of defeat. Human, unpredictable, resilient, dangerous. We underestimated you. The words echoed across the planet, a testament to human strength and ingenuity. Humanity had faced annihilation and turned it into victory. They had rewritten the rules of engagement, showing that courage, intelligence, and unity could triumph over even the most powerful foes. And as the sun rose over a free earth, humanity looked to the stars not with fear, but with hope, determination, and pride. They had faced impossible odds, survived, and emerged stronger. The planet belonged to them, and the galaxy had taken notice. Elena stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the horizon. "This is our world," she said quietly. "We fought for it, and we will protect it. Humanity has proven that we are not weak. We are strong. We are resilient. We are unstoppable." The war was over, but humanity's story had only just begun. From the ashes of fear, a species had risen, undaunted, inventive, and united. They had shown the universe the true power of humans, not just their strength but their courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable will. The Virith had expected surrender. Humanity had brought absolute destruction.